Garrison is my fourth son. He is now back living with me in Flagstaff. He and Cody really butt heads over the CDC guidelines, Cody's guidelines, and whether even Garrison's being safe at all. He now has bought a trailer that he's going to park to the side of my rental house, and he's going to fix it up and live in that while he finishes the saving for his house for a couple months.
The trailer is got too much work to be done on it. Garrison doesn't move out.
I have gotten myself in a very stupid position as far as an independent woman. If I were to leave or want to leave right now, I would have no estate. I have nothing. My hands are completely tied. Everything I have asset-wise has everybody else's name on it too.
Honestly, I gave half the proceeds from my house in Vegas to Robin to help purchase this house that she's in currently. We also at that time pulled a lot of money from the joint family account to help get her into that house.
So a few days after the confrontation, we got a text message from McKelty saying that Robin and her kids weren't going to participate in this year's gift exchange, and it kind of hurt.
All of you are just kind of jerks. I don't want to be around you, and I'm tired of it. And I don't want to call them, and I don't want to talk to them.
And that's why I'm done with Robin. I don't care to talk to Robin anymore. This is us going, you know what, Robin? Have him. Because we don't care anymore. We're all grown adults that don't need a father figure.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, May 16th, 2024, and I have an update on a story that we've been covering since March related to Garrison Brown, because the final determination has come forward from the medical examiner in Coconino County. The report was released on May 15th to the media. I did not specifically request a copy of this, so I only can go off the reports that have been made by numerous media outlets about what was found in his system and what contributed to his sudden passing. While it's been widely reported about the means that he had taken to end his life, what was not known was whether or not he had any substances in his system and whether or not those substances might have contributed to his passing. And when he passed away, they did an autopsy, and then they had a toxicology report sent out to look at if there were any substances in his blood at the time of his passing. And according to People magazine, which was one of the first outlets to report this, there was a really high concentration of alcohol found in his blood. In fact, it was nearly 4 times the legal limit, making it almost at a potentially fatal level. His blood alcohol content found in the iliac blood analysis was 0.307%. And then when they looked at the fluid of his body, which is the vitreous analysis, his alcohol content was 0.37%. So he had extremely high levels of alcohol found not only in his blood, but also in the body fluid. The vitreous fluid is found in bodies after you pass away, and it's used to determine post-mortem what the potential blood alcohol level is. Given the fact that his blood alcohol level was so high, the coroner determined and the medical examiner determined that alcohol poisoning was a contributing factor to his passing. The fact that it's so high, it's mind-blowing that he would have actually been able to function, because individuals that are generally at a level of 2.2 or higher generally will pass out. I was doing some research on this just to get some understanding of how high this is. And I found something from Cleveland Clinic that says that gives common symptoms of someone that would be what their impairment level would be at a certain blood alcohol content. When someone's between 0.2 and 0.29, there's confusion, feeling dazed, disorientation. Sensations of pain will change. So if you fall and seriously hurt yourself, you may not notice. You are less likely to do anything about it. Nausea and vomiting are likely to occur, and the gag reflex will be impaired, which could cause choking or aspirating on vomit. Blackouts can begin at this BAC, so you may participate in events that you do not remember. And that's between 2.2 and 0.29%. So at that point, someone could be potentially blacked out, not even know what they're doing, not have any knowledge of what they're doing. If they hurt themselves, they might not even feel it or understand what it is, and they're unlikely to get help. At 0.3 to 0.39%, it says at this point you may be unconscious and your potential for death can increase. Along with loss of understanding at this BAC, you will also experience extreme increases in your heart rate, your regular breathing, and you may have loss of bladder control. So that's what I would, it's considered a level that's so high that you would be very much in a stupor. Very hard to comprehend what you're doing, may not even be coherent, could be functioning at blackout level. And then anything over 0.4 could potentially put you into a coma or cause sudden death, because your heart or breathing could suddenly stop. So he wasn't at a lethal level, but he was at a very high level, which has extreme symptoms that would 100% impair his ability to make decisions, his consciousness, his understanding of what he was doing. It also would make him feel pretty intoxicated and sick. Garrison was extremely intoxicated when this all happened. And on top of that, the medical examiner also noted that he had a history of chronic migraines and he had been diagnosed with prediabetes, which is actually not super uncommon with individuals that are heavy drinkers or have alcohol substance use disorder, because heavy alcohol use can impact your liver and pancreas, which impacts how your body breaks down blood sugar and can cause you to have higher than normal blood sugar levels. And so he, at a very young age, had signs of prediabetes. Generally, type 2 diabetes doesn't happen when you're in your 20s. So his body had signs of alcohol use disorder. According to the CDC, substance use disorders are a contributing factor to people ending their lives. Drinking often can lead to depression, which can lead to thoughts of self-harm and self-wanting and self-ideation to end your life. It's such an issue that even the military has posted content and articles for service members about what drinking alcohol can do and how it can increase your issues with ending your life. They wrote in an article on usarmy.mil, they said that drinking alcohol comes with risks to your health, relationships. One other often remains unspoken: suicide. No one situation leads to these events. Factors are complex and may involve family history, mental health, relationship challenges, and prolonged stress. If you are a service member, other risks may include lack of advancement, career setbacks, feeling like your honor was lost, injury or health issues, or a recent return from deployment. Deployment, temporary duty assignments, and permanent changes of stations can cause stress due to a loss of connection with family or friends and time away from home, or changes to your day-to-day routine. We do know that he was in the process of changing from the Nevada National Guard to the Arizona National Guard. And it says that changes in stations and who your group is can cause people to feel depressed. They go on to note, while alcohol does not cause it, it can play a big role. Some say it's the second largest risk factor for these types of deaths or attempts, right after depression. People who are thinking about dying often turn to alcohol, and rather than helping, alcohol can increase thoughts. Here's how. When you drink, you make snap decisions without much thought. This is because alcohol slows down the part of your brain that controls thoughts, movement, speech, memory, and messages between your brain and body. You are less able to solve problems and may have trouble seeing a positive future for yourself. This can lead to dark thoughts. While trying to forget your problems, you may drink a great deal and unknowingly distance yourself and cut yourself off from your unit, buddies, friends, or family. These are the people who are the most supportive during hard times. Think about it. You may be in a situation where you're going through a tough time. Perhaps you aren't sure how to make things better and you start drinking more. Alcohol can cloud your thinking, and pretty soon you may see suicide as the easiest or only way out. But there is help, which they provide the phone number for the prevention hotline, and they also provide resources for understanding what your limits are and other resources for members stressed out dealing with alcohol and thoughts of ending their lives. So Garrison comes from he had a complex life, and obviously we only saw a very small part of it on a show. I have sister wives. He also came from a family that came from a polygamous cult, which was a high control group. And they grew up not knowing limits or understanding moderation because alcohol is not at all allowed in this world. And it's something that they consider very sinful. And when people turn to drinking in the system that they come from, I've been told it can lead to really extreme shame because their drinking is such a bad sin to them that there's a lot of shame in hiding their drinking from others because of that shame. Today, I actually reached out to someone that knows the Brown family. They haven't spoken to them since all of this happened, but I reached out to them specifically because they've told me that they've had at least 12 attempts on their life, and a part of that was leaving polygamy, trying to manage the trauma of leaving polygamy, and coming from a world where going to the doctor and going on medication or seeing a psychologist is not promoted, and people are made to believe that psychologists and doctors are evil and going to rip their families apart. So a lot of people turn to alcohol. This person told me that they have been clean for, I think, 5 years or over 1,100 days, 1,200 days. I know that they're like close to 5 years sober, and they count the days still. And they said that the day that they checked into rehab, their blood alcohol was 0.317. So they understood very well where Garrison was at. They also said that alcoholism or drinking after leaving is very common for people that leave, and so are people dying by this manner through attempts or through actually following through and ending their lives because of the sense of hopelessness that they feel and no resources to understand and manage the trauma and the abuse and the neglect that they experience. There is help. And what this person has shared with me is that there are so many resources out there for anyone that has gone through abuse, neglect, and coming out of a polygamy. One resource that I know this person specifically has used is Holding Out Help, and they actually have therapists that can help manage the trauma. They specifically are keeping note of trying to prevent these types of deaths because it's such a problem right now in Utah, and any people coming out of these sects, they're seeing a higher rate than normal of men dying this way, specifically young men, because they're the ones that are cast out. So there are resources for like Holding Out Help, which has safe houses, they have therapists, they offer life skills. Tanya and her team is amazing. And then there's also Hope After Polygamy. This organization offers scholarships and has a website with tons of resources to help people get back into life and connect them with others that have also left the system. When you leave, it's very, very difficult because you leave everything. And Garrison, the kids really have lost their church communities. They've lost a lot of their family members. They're now alienated and estranged from their father. There's a lot that they need help with. And I would honestly say that the women like Mary, Janelle, and Christine would 100% benefit from resources through Holding Out Help. Even though they're so public, I know that they would benefit from their help because you can't come out of this unscathed. It's impossible. The one thing that this person told me about when people die this way is that these types of deaths are so common in this community. And because there's a lot of shame about these kinds of deaths, it's very much that families want to sweep it under the rug and not talk about it. They don't want to address it because this type of death in their community is actually considered a sin equivalent to actually ending someone's life. So it's something that you're supposedly you can't come back from, you can't atone for it. And that because of that, families won't talk about it and they don't want to talk about it and they sweep it under the rug. The group will also sweep it under the rug because they don't want any negativity associated with this practice, and they don't want anyone to think that anyone is actually so traumatized that they come out with so much pain that this is what they turn to. What they said is that the reaction that we see from the Browns, at least some of the family members, not addressing it or seemingly acting maybe not how you or I would act, going back to work, acting positive, posting like normal, not really skipping a beat. They said that that's just what they do in this culture because they don't at all want to deal with it. And these kinds of deaths happen so often. And there are so many kids that it's just a natural part of life. Children passing away is not uncommon. And so they keep going because there's always other children. You're just, unfortunately, in these systems, a number. It's so heartbreaking. I'm sharing this because I want to bring awareness to the issues within polygamy. And I think after the last 2 months, there's been a lot of really big emotions about what happened, but talking about contributing factors like alcohol and polygamy is an important thing to discuss so that we understand that polygamy is not benign, it is harmful, and these are some of the worst side effects of these cults is young men ending their lives because of the rejection, the shunning, the shame. It's truly sad. Garrison had a lot to live for, and we are going to see the family talk about it in the next season. Cody will be sharing all of his thoughts, even though he was estranged, and we'll have to see how it comes out publicly. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are about all of this. If you've lost a loved one in the same way, if you are from the world of polygamy, if you are in my comments, I know there's a lot of you out there that are watching that are from polygamous sects that have left. Thank you for being here. And if you've had resources that you've used that have helped you, make sure to share those in the comments. You never know who might read them. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, click on the bell. Make sure to click on the bell so you get notified. I've been told by my YouTube manager that there's a lot of you that haven't done that yet. And also, thank you so much for watching. And if you or anyone you know needs help, please contact 988 and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are not alone. There are resources available. Bye, guys.